Good evening, Free Enterprise fans, and welcome to another fantastic race of the Eblan Elixir League Potion Party matchup. We got RPGMel710 versus Guerin in this team matchup. My name's Vitasia. I'm joined tonight on the mic, first time commentator, so welcome to the community, Wreckit89. How we doing tonight, Wreckit?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. How about yourself?
Excited for some more free enterprise action. We're in the second round of the Potion Party League. We have some teams already winning, some teams already losing. There's a lot of spoilers that are out there, so we don't necessarily want to reveal implications for it, but we'll just say every race is important in this tournament setup, isn't it?
Absolutely. Everybody's looking for that W. You can't shy away, even if you've already scored your 2 wins for the week. Every win helps with morale, of course. You always want to be going forward as hard as you can.
Absolutely. And of course, tonight, RPG Mel and Guerin, we have a Rosa start, and then these flag sets Rat Tail, Pink Tail, Burn the Mist Village with package. Uh, what's your initial impression of this particular flag set starting?
It's racers always got to like to see the double tail play. I mean, you can always got a finger crossed for the rat tail turn into the pink tail. Um, Burning Mist it's always an iffy one for me, but as long as they remember they don't have to do the full mist check, just burn the village. It's usually a good alternative sometimes to the king queen.
So here's something that's been interesting about this particular set of flags in this tournament, and it's a little bit different than every other tournament that we've had here at Free Enterprise. Zaldi rating with 45, thanks for the raid. Uh, the interesting thing about these flag sets, and it's highlighted in these objectives, the prevailing wisdom has always been in Free Enterprise, do your objectives. Because doing your objectives usually leads to key items, which can unlock other objectives, which you can kind of keep on going down the line. This is, and it exemplifies it in this set. There's only one of those objectives that can turn in to help you with anything else, and that's turning in the rat tail. Might reward you with something else. Other than that, each objective is kind of a dead end on its own. So there's no reward for trying to chain together a bunch of objectives. You just have to kind of slog through it all sometimes, right?
Sorry, I have just a little issue cutting out a little bit. It having the objectives, yeah, it's rough. I would definitely love to see more that could turn into more objectives, but you just gotta hope that at least the rat tail turns into something you need. It would not be you would not want to see just an item coming from that.
Absolutely. In the
Now,
meantime, our runners are off. We see the Magma Key start and a double white mages, Rosa and Porum, going out for a girls' night.
with the flag sets we have, that's actually not terrible. Um, you can always find like an early bows and some power shirts if you're really lucky. These two can put in some work.
Absolutely. And I think more to the point there, a couple of white mages, after you get them a few levels, can really help you, for lack of a better term, cheese some tougher bosses at some of the more difficult levels. You get some blinks up and some berserk casters, and things can be under control very easily if there's a punchy boss in an odd location. We also saw Rydia there in the Baron Inn, while Guerin is immediately turning in that Odin key. So Rydia, another character, great magic user, real quick to get online with a single summon as well.
Yeah, I think Rydia definitely is one that has been shining in these flag sets. Just about anyone that's seen her has usually taken her. You put in some real work. If you get lucky enough, find like an early Bahamut or something. Even a Leviathan really help clear out some of these checks.
100%. I actually prefer Leviathan over Bahamut. Bahamut is nice when you can find him, but Leviathan having a little bit cheaper of an MP cost, a little bit more accessible early on. You can kind of go one stage earlier in the fights and still have access to Leviathan. So that's just my preference, but there's a reason I'm 1-1 in the tournament myself. Meanwhile, Guerin opening up a couple treasure chests along the way, not doing too much hunting for the warrior chest, but this is the Fey March freebie, and I'll take it. I'll take a sand ruby.
That's definitely not a bad thing. Nobody went and checked, so we don't know who's sitting there, but that could always be a potential edge, would really help this team out, or, a Cecil would be fantastic.
I mean, we have the white mages. They can deal some damage. They can't deal kind of the top end damage towards the end game that you really want to rely on, unless you have all the right arrows and all the right gear. But certainly, a very important characters. If we can find some melee there. Meanwhile, Guerin does also show us who these bosses are: Vanilla Leviathan and Evil Wall, and is what likely is the fastest spot in the entire game.
Yeah, you hate to see that when you're racing. On our end, that's fantastic to see, because I want to see how these guys handle that. Be real exciting, but definitely not something you want to run in when you're on the receiving end of an Evil Wall.
It's interesting. Oh, heroine robes found by RPGMel710 there. So that's an important pickup with those two white mages right there. At least that knowledge. But it's interesting because Evil Wall does have some ways to cheese him a little bit. If we find an Edward and a ribbon hat, for example, hide Edward, let him go all the way to it, and let him start his crush mechanics. You can't crush something that has a ribbon equipped. At that point, it literally becomes a free fight. So don't count out that Evil Wall. If we find the right mix of character and equipment, that can absolutely be kind of at least some very doable fight.
That is very true. I always keep forgetting about the ribbon blocking crush. So that goes to show you about me. But I missed it. I'm pretty sure they both checked it. Did we see what Job Dwarf was this time?
It was very, very fast. They did both check it. Both of our runners are in it for the memes, but we were too busy talking about trying to add commentary to the race instead of doing our important job, which is memes. Because everyone knows that's all we're here for, as commentators, is memes.
Absolutely. If you can't meme, then what is even the point of calling a race?
In the meantime, we do see Guerin almost immediately saying, yeah, Hypo sounds like it's going to be a good spot to stop off on. Thunderclaw? I like seeing a Thunderclaw, and I'd like seeing that Dwarf Axe there as well. Yeah, Guerin picking that up. Thunderclaw is just an absolute beast of an item, especially with all the trap chests that are in the lower tower of Babel. There's a cane lying in the bed, which is fantastic to see.
That is definitely a welcome sight with double white mages, especially once we just saw. I do believe there was also a Dragoon Spear in that same shop. So this cane will be he's pretty set already.
Maybe. I mean, Dragoon Lances are pricey for what they are. I think the primary issue right now is like Guerin's not done a ton of looting, so may not have the money for it, I don't think. Because only 15,000 right at the moment. It's We're talking like 120,000 or something like that for the Dragoon Lance. $110. Okay, thank you, Fiery Blizzard. It was over 100,000. No, I knew that much.
Yeah, definitely not cheap, but could be a nice pickup. There are some bosses that Dragoon Spear would be very helpful of if we find a little bit of a rude wyvern, or speed up that Bahamut fight.
Absolutely. Now, one thing that RPGMel is doing, and not Guerin, is specifically going over here and at least booping Yang on the nose and saying, I know where you are. I'm going to go tell your wife. Which is a great routing decision in terms of trying to get as much value out of an early game magma key before you do the standard kind of overworld routing that you do. I love this play that Mel is doing.
Definitely a smart play, and thank you, Fiery, for pointing out Bahamut is not actually a dragon. He is shaped like a dragon, but does not have the dragon type.
That means do not cast Ice 3 on him. It is not super effective.
I'll be 100% honest. I did not actually know Ice 3 was effective against dragons, so
it's not. I'm making a stupid Pokemon reference right now. It's okay.
Okay. Now I'm really glad you admitted that, because I was about to start icing dragons in my next race.
No, please do not. Please do not. Although the basilisk and the turtles are weak to ice, so there. Anyway, back on track. Guerin now showing us there is a duplicate Rydia up on Mount Hobbs, so not gonna get multiple black magic casters, at least as far as we know. But that's an Ogopogo. A doable Ogopogo spot. In fact, I kind of like Ogopogo at this location.
It's definitely one of the better places to find him, as opposed to later on when he can really do some work on you. But this, he still might knock out that Rydia if she gets unlucky and gets targeted. But nope, he's dead before he can even do anything.
Yeah, and that was very quick. Ruby is plenty slow. That's probably one of the better spots for Ruby to pop up. And a good chunk of experience through all of it, and everyone stays alive. Now, the one issue with Mountain Hobbs right now is if you have an exit caster like an early Tella, you can kind of sneak over to the other side, which, for whatever reason, probably confirmation bias, always seems to have great loot, or in this case, great money. However, neither of our white mages quite have learned exit yet, so unfortunately, no easy way to get over and get that done.
Yeah, I think with sometimes the risk is just not quite worth it. If I could guarantee there would be some good money, I would probably make the run without an exit caster, but this early on, with the kind of start they've had, I would definitely be trying to look for shaving as many seconds off as I can right now.
I get it. I really do. And I know, like, the logical part of my brain says it's confirmation bias. Don't trust it. Never go over there. But every time I go over there, because it's the smart thing to do, it is just an awesome side of the mountain. So, what's a speedrunner to do?
It works every time until it doesn't. We have over on Guerin's side, he's got a little Mylon and friend, a zombie dance party hanging out in the Antlion Cave. Not bad place to see him. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's down already, just as we pay attention to it.
Yep, his buddies allowed the HP spread to be even a little bit lower than usual. So with that, hey chat, I have a question for you. Who's team Fade Harp like me? I'm just curious, who else is in Fade Heart, Team Fade Heart? Hush Pyramid, our restreamer? Alright. How about you, Wreck-It? Are you Team Fade Harp or you Team Harp every time?
In my heart, I want to say I'm harp every time, but there have been plenty of times where I have too many other checks to make and I can't justify the time investment. But in my heart, I will always do the harp.
Berserk now, it's like, yeah, sure, why not? Harp only has an ag apple anyway. Why not? Why not do it? Yeah, it's one of those locations. It's very popular with the community because it's one of the few things. Well, I mean, spoiler alert for you guys, because we do not randomize the Zeromus sprite in these flag sets, since Zeromus is sure not appearing in this movie. The Twin Harp is the only thing that we can get some extra rando spiciness in our free enterprise. So I can appreciate the play, but it feels bad every time I have to make it.
Oh, and here we got that Wyvern we were just talking about earlier over at the Fabul Defense. That's two really dangerous moon bosses out of the way pretty early. You love to see that.
Yes, absolutely. 100%. They are out of the pool. We don't have to worry about them at a dangerous spot. I think more importantly than that is of the dangerous bosses being out of the pool is that there's an increased likelihood of something really easy being the required final boss. So I like those odds.
Did we see what the Witchburn was? Wyvern's opening move? I don't think he even got it off.
I think they were saying it was a lit 2 at a super low magic spot. Which is hilarious. All right, samurai arrows and all of the Sid. That was, the shop for Sid right there. I guess there was a poison claw in there too, so Yang could get some stuff. But Sammy arrows, poison rune axe, poison claws, just a smorgasbord of all sorts of things that Sid would love.
Absolutely. Now, if only we could find one. Although, given what we have already, I wouldn't be mad about finding a Sid, but wouldn't exactly be too happy about it either.
Hey, there's our power. Leviathan, that's where you've been. And a Stardust Rod to pump it up.
Oh, man, that is...
Let's go!
You love to see it. You love to see it.
And a Gaia shirt. I mean, because why not? It's like, we are just saying, hey, Rydia, how would you like to become beefy very, very quickly? And that is done now.
Always a great day when you see your small child just suddenly become a murder machine.
Oh, that's right. Gaia shirt doesn't get plus wisdom. We have to wait till the black shirt. Because, of course, everything works that way in Final Fantasy IV.
Yeah, some of the armors don't give the stats you honestly would think. I think like most of the wisdom shirts will instead of wisdom.
Yeah, they did change one of the fixes that went through, because the black shirt used to not give wisdom either. It accidentally, it's like only black mages could equip it, but it didn't give you any black mage stats. So that was one of the things that was, I would say, fixed to probably be intended for the free enterprise community. So stork robes give us, and black shirts give us, and I think wizard robes do as well, but the Gaia shirts don't. And the wizard hats absolutely do not. The best thing that you can get, if not a tiara, is a Gaia hat.
The
more you know.
Yeah. And we saw over on RPGMel's side was a little bit of a whoopsie daisy. Summoning against the Wyvern brought out that mega nuke that we were missing, honestly. That is an accidental wipe there, and we've got Golbez over in Baron in 2 spot.
Kind of a rude spot for Baron in 2. However, at least Rosa is able to stay up. I'm not quite sure what equipment she has. Maybe the Heroine Robe? Either way. We'll have at least one character to get up and maybe able to get an extra Star Veil off. So one character, now it's a dice roll, and yes, we got it.
That's just the best way it could possibly have happened. And thankfully, this spot doesn't give any experience, so you don't even have to really worry about getting those lives off.
True, it does not matter. Just, okay, however you end up doing it, trying to get as much damage off. Did we see a Star Veil? Yes, okay, there was. What? Was that the red tail from RPGMel? That was the red tail.
That is indeed the rat tail. Looks like the poking around in Sylph Cave has paid off. If we could just dig up that hook, we've got one objective checked off really early.
And it's interesting because the hook on its own obviously has a great deal of value in this flag set because of trade away the rat tail, trade away the pink tail. But it, unlike other seeds with K trap turned on, it does have 2 trap chest checks. Oh, and there's the pan on Guerin's side. That's going to at least drive Guerin towards doing the same thing. So whatever advantage RPGMel ended up getting from that is going to be, I think, pretty short-lived, honestly.
Definitely will close that gap. Really depends on what the pan and Sheila 2 gives. It could potentially give. Best case scenario gives both the pink and hooks. That would rocket Guerin ahead.
Oh, I see what you're saying, where you get the hook from Sheila 2, immediately turn in the rat tail, and it gives you the pink tail, so you can get just 2 objectives, boom, boom, just knock it all out at the same time.
Yes, exactly. I did not forget that the summons don't give key items in this flag set.
Nope, that's something that I still have to remind myself of every now and then as well. But however, Guerin holding off on that at first, going to go up Mount Ordeals. Now, this is kind of an interesting play in that I don't see a whole lot of incentive. There is a key item up here, obviously, which is fine. But if you don't have a Tella, you don't have a Cecil, and you're not necessarily on boss hunts, and you already have the Magma Key, I don't know about climbing Mount Ordeals here, personally.
That's true. It's not the best of plays. It is definitely a time sink, but from my perspective, at least, representing Team What's the Big Ordeals, I have to respect this play.
Fair. No, and Fiery Blizzard has a point. That might be the reason for the check in all reality, because it's one of those, it is a small percentage play, and with a party setup like this, it's pretty, it would be pretty common to fade Ordeals because there's no other reason to come up here. But if this ends up being one of those key items, like the hook, like the package, something that can give you a bit of an edge, then it goes from a play that looks bad on paper to a brilliant Giga Chad, mind explosion play. So far the bosses haven't been too bad up here. This is a bit of a punchy water hag that, remember, the script is not encountered at this point, so he's just going to keep punching. We have to kill him.
That is definitely another change that I'm sure many people got thrown off by. The no free bosses flag is enabled, so Water Hag will not be going down in just 3 hits. You do have to chunk all the HP out, and he will be slapping you the whole time you're trying to do it.
Yeah, with the party we have though up to this point in time, Rosa is certainly swinging hard. That was a punch, certainly. But RPG Mel still opening these treasure chests. Um, we, get the hourglass off. Maybe try to keep Riddy up. But Leviathan did take out Water Hag. Just swept him right off the bridge. Whew.
You would think a Water Hag would be pretty used to the water and not actually be affected by that. You just swim on right through.
Yeah, but the wave is pushing you off the bridge, so even if you're swimming upstream, it can be tough, I would imagine.
I'm just now picturing going down ordeals. You just see the Water Hag in a constant state of trying to get back to the top.
You got I figure it probably makes the same sound as a Murloc.
It does now. That is now canon.
All right, I'm fine with this.
Oh, there we go. Water Hag is a freshwater thing. Leviathan is a saltwater thing. That makes a lot more sense now.
Because science matters in our fantasy settings.
Absolutely, 100% it does. I missed the who we fought in the altar room there. I was too busy crafting some new free enterprise lore here. Did you happen to catch that?
It was Vivala's, which is interesting, and it's the Baron key, I think, is what we ended up getting. So interesting. I think if you took the gamble to come up here, you've got to follow it through. It is another character check. It's 2 more bosses, one of which we know from the opening characters, which I know was only 24 minutes ago, but mind already gone.
If I'm recalling correctly, I think it was the Baron in Guards.
You're right. It was a set of guards. We don't know which guards. It was blue guards though. So
It's like that Lamia chest is giving RPG Mel a little bit of difficulty, but they're bouncing back slowly. Oh, Brady goes down. Still not terrible, and get the experience on the Rosa and the Porum at least.
thank you. I will absolutely take that Avenger. Kane Avenger is amazing.
100%. I would say that's definitely worth it.
But when it comes to key items, though, we got some decent stuff. We got a Bahamut summon, we got an Avenger sword, and I don't know what the third item was. And we got some pretty good levels. But RPG Mel did not necessarily get a whole, any direction from those 3 trap chests. So we'll certainly be able to run through the rest of these other objectives. But otherwise, in terms of a straight line race, Guerin's has had more of these other checks already done.
That's definitely true. Hopefully, coming up short in Eblan will hopefully start pushing RPG Mel in the right direction. I did catch some crystal rings in the Baron armor shop. That is a nice treat to see. Definitely will not be upset about that. A little pricey, but definitely worth it.
Yep. Just as a note, make sure you don't equip that, of all things, on your Rosa. Remember, Crystal Ring does have bonus agility on it, so it's going to make your characters speedier. And you don't want your hero to be speedy on these flag sets, otherwise it's speeding up the enemies at the same time. Their camp for can we always refer to crystal rigs now as a nice little treat? You know what? It is a nice little treat. We can do that here.
Yeah, that looks like that's one of the which soldier group that is. Is that Kaipo in?
Yep, this is Kaipo in. So it's the easier set of guards, frankly speaking, where all you really need to do, if you're not concerned about the experience, is to knock off the first 3 and the officer will retreat. And that's just part of his normal script, I believe. But you will lose out on kind of the larger chunk of experience when he does that. So, all right. Nice to see that.
Yeah, I mean, sweeping them all the way at once with Leviathan definitely fixes that problem.
It does, but things get a little difficult now. Okay, so we have an Asura. There are mute arrows, so I guess we're just gonna let Rosa go bird at this point.
Mute arrows, I don't know if Guerin has that. I think I saw it on RPGMel's side. There is a mute dagger as well, so Kane can put in a little bit of work too.
And it doesn't matter how much healing Asura does. 2 shots, one of them being a crit, and she goes down.
That's yeah, no, that definitely takes care of any issue you might have had. A lucky crit will solve most problems.
Okay, character number 5. We have a Yang. All right. So, I mean, we remember where we saw cat claws and poison claws, I think. But we do have a second melee fighter in addition to 2 white mages and a black mage. This is shaping up to be a pretty decent party.
It's definitely better than some of the ones I've seen before, some of the ones I've had. Yang, on this flag set, he's kind of iffy for me, but
He's at a disadvantage for this flag set. It is Earth Crystal. That's nice. But yeah, he's one of those characters that he really shines when you can get him to higher levels, because then his damage output can rival like a Kane's or a Cecil not with a holy sword. Like you give Cecil anything else, and he's and Yang can be right up there with him. But yeah, he requires levels. He doesn't get a whole lot from gear, and this is definitely a gear-driven flag set.
Really loving the divergence we have. We have RPGMel's making the Dwarf Castle check. We have Guerin going over to Cave Magnus. It's smart play. Go do Cave Magnus, and then you might as well do the Earth Crystal while you're here.
Yeah, Guerin's the one with the pan too, so kind of delaying the free checks in order to do the efficiency checks, like doing this and then doing the Earth Crystal. I get it because it is efficient to go ahead and do it, but that does mean we'll have a heart check though. Meanwhile, RPGMel finds D-Lunars, and we're just gonna blarg all over everything.
And Blarg makes really short work out of these. Another arrow probably should do it. Nope. All right, another hit. Another one.
Oh no. They've walled up. In the meantime, it does look like Guerin is finishing up. And... oh! Okay, yeah. perished, and we will have DJ Spoony V with his fat beats coming up here directly. And Shredward shows us how it's done. That was he was just tearing into it. Meanwhile, RPG Mel finds an apple and the crystal, the wrong crystal, the crystal we do not need. We will not be memeing with the crystal, folks. We can do better, community guys. We can do better. We're not going to repeat the same memes from last tournament.
At least with finding the crystal, you know, we can finally fix that darn crystal chandelier that's been busted for so long. Get some real pretty light going on in here.
In the
I think
meantime, the Twin Harp was a song. We got Shredward though. That was a fantastic harp song, at least, right?
It was one of those I know it, but it was just on the tip of my tongue. I couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, first spoilers, if you're just listening to us, you're not able to read chat. That was the Mana Beast fight from Secret of Mana. And it was it's just very, very good. Shout out to all the members of the community that have all the different harp songs. I know Xenocat is a prevalent mixer and remasterer of those tunes, but there's several other members of the community who have also contributed. So thank you to everyone who's made those contributions out there.
Guerin checking the Troya Treasury. Always good. That is a lot of money we're seeing. Oh, man.
Yeah, we're good.
Yeah,
we're good.
I think that's probably one of the best treasuries you're going to get for a while.
Fiery Blizzard is saying awful for these flags out of 10. There was at least one or two like 49,000 ones fiery. So we're good, honestly. I think more importantly, we are on our way to get 2 more key item checks, not only in the Earth, in Tower of Zot on our own with this trap chest, but also completing the Tower of Zot. And there's 2 character checks. If you're still not quite comfortable with your party, for example, if you're like, yeah, I don't want to commit to Yang, or you're looking for something else, 2 checks coming right up.
Flame Dog getting a little spicy, but shouldn't be too much longer. It'll go down.
Mel decided to take a step back and set up a little bit for the Golbez fight. So got through the Dark Knight fight just fine, but said, I want to take a step back before I do Golbez. So restarting this one.
It never hurts to be prepared, especially for this kind of a fight.
Yeah, different runners have different ways of going about it. One thing that I know some runners like to do when you know it's coming, and I try to do the same thing, cast Piggy. I mean, you can do it on everyone. If you're trying to save the time, you can try to bounce back and forth between Piggy and Minnie, between your casters and your physical damage dealers, but just having any sort of status effect on your characters blocks his ability to paralyze. So makes it a little bit easier to get everything set up.
And we got Mylon Z over on Guerin's side, over in the Mega Sister spot. It should not be too difficult with the amount of power he's packing right now. Something, Deep Ravine.
Yeah, nothing really worries us about a Deep Ravine. When we have, the Murder Child on our side, Rydia. But I think those are fire arrows that Rosa is also firing and just wailing away. So there's the pan on RPGMel. It'll be interesting to see if he opts to go ahead and turn that in, knowing he's already done Sheila 1. Guerin has had it up to this point in time and is, I think, doing a good job of following his gamble up Mount Ordeals, and it continues to kind of follow this chain, because Mount Ordeals led us to Baron, led us to the Earth Crystal. So we're still following that chain right now and that gamble. There's our Sid. There's our 6th character as well. Probably not picking him up either, but.
And Tella is number 7. Honestly, I would be surprised if either of these guys join us at this point, to be honest. Yep, that was a quick dismissal of both old men. No beards allowed in this party.
Hey. Young has facial hair, right?
I do believe he just has a mustache, so he does fall under the no beards allowed rule still.
Okay, so it's just the... Okay. Mustaches are fine. Beards are not. Meanwhile, RPGMel is immediately turning in that pan. So if this ends up being something that Guerin could have taken advantage of a while ago, it'll be interesting. But RPGMel is doing his objectives up to this point in time. The only thing that we have not seen, because we've seen Dwarf, we haven't seen any Sylph Cave checks, and we have not also seen any of the checks in Lower Tower Babel with those 4 trap chests as well. Starting to get to the point where we have the levels to be able to take on the Underworld trap chests.
I think if this turns out to be nothing for Mel, I wouldn't be surprised if they just start doing some trap chests. And that is just a moon veil, so the hunt continues.
Yep. And at this point, if you're in the race at 41 minutes and you haven't done ordeals yet, there's no reason to do ordeals. You're probably going to be dodging ordeals if you still have other checks you can do, especially in the underworld. So I got to imagine, yeah, that we are on our way. Oh, no. What? No. Oh, RPGMel is saying, hey, by the way, I remember I have this twin harp here.
That is unfortunate on our end. We do know that this will not come up with anything, but that is a smart check. You're still here. You might as well just clear out the overworld, get the easy checks that you can.
And here's the problem, Guerin, through all of that, the end of the chain was just a golden apple. So not rewarded at all. Guerin now going over here doing Castle Eblan. There's 3 things that you get a couple levels here, but that's it. Well, that's all you're going to get necessarily with your full party, for sure. But we know that ordeals line that led into kind of a couple different things. RPGMel is dumping a little bit of time here into the harp check that Guerin did, but remember, Guerin did ordeals into Baron into Zot, and that's a lot of time to sink in to not be rewarded with anything. He's got to be feeling behind and a little bit of the pressure right now.
Definitely. We're 43 minutes in. Nobody's checked a single objective. I would definitely be feeling like behind. I would probably be trying to find as many checks as I could in a tight area. So I can understand the Eblan play. That's 3 quick potential key items. We know it doesn't turn up anything, but you got to have the hope.
Yeah. So Guerin now doing these checks and still wanting to make sure everyone gets the experience. You know what? We're going to give you guys bonus Shredword right now. He's not Bedward. He's Shredword tonight because this song is fire. So, encore. All right, so RPGMel does cruise through, gets the life staff. Wonder if he's going to end up keeping it. Looks like it. So, but then by now, our Porum certainly has exit. Yeah, so we're going to exit on out.
We have Guerin just cleaning up the last of the trap chests over here. Don't know if they... Yep, they still have hourglasses. So you could definitely check the warrior chest at the very least after this.
Yeah, the warrior chest would be a good one. You know what? We have a party that is capable of sweeping through the other chests in Self Cave. Rosa as your anchor, you're kind of in a weird anchoring situation, so you're going to take some damage as you're going through it, but you're going to gain levels pretty quick. Um, so yeah, I see warrior chests. Probably going to end up doing lower battle before that, though.
I would be very surprised if that's not the next stop after here. Just try to get those searchers out with the definitely positive they can one-shot those searchers. Wouldn't even have to worry about them calling an enemy.
Dragoon Lance? Alright. Okay, that's nice. Not thrilling. It could come in handy. Not useless. But not exactly what we're looking for, is it?
Nope, not at all. It's definitely nice, but at 48 minutes in and you're just looking for those key items, it's not what you want to see.
In the meantime, yeah, RPGMel is taking off, and yep, tower is up. This makes sense. Guerin getting some equipment, looking like gearing up for the dwarf fights. And Avenger King is just going to make this a little bit easy. Just let him swing.
Ooh, just a big bomb right away. That's... Yep. How do you think they're feeling? Every single check they're making is just coming up with nothing. That's got to just be gnawing at you by now.
It 100% is. And here's the deal. Like, we're getting close to running out of checks otherwise. Like, we have these checks and then self-checks, I guess, technically. Self-checks feel real bad when you have an anchor that you really can't slow Rosa down a whole lot. And there's not much that you can do to speed Rydia up to sweep through self-checks. So, you're like, nothing is attractive about doing the self-checks. That was a key item, though. I don't know. It was Tower Key. So, cool. One extra check that we can do here.
Yeah, you know, that's the number of times I've seen Tower give Tower Key in the trap chest. It really makes a hamper on trying to do a keyless tower run.
No one ever does a keyless tower run. Everyone jokes about doing a keyless tower run, but no one. Every time I've seen someone try to do a keyless tower run, they end up finding the key somewhere along the line.
I keep trying to do a keyless tower run. I want to make the joke, but then the game is just like, no joke for you.
The thing that's really going to blow this thing wide open is really going to be the hook, because we already have the rat tail turn in, and that's also 2 more crap chest locations to unlock. So I don't know, I feel something in my blood, something in my soul. That hook is what's going to blow this race wide open.
Absolutely. It's what you get. Is there any other key item check behind the hook route besides the trap chest, or is that it?
No, the 2 trap chests. Remember, there's the one in the Eblan Cave, and then there's one in Upper Tower of Babel. That
Right.
Yeah, both of them. So 2 checks, another character check that we know is going to end up being useless. But yeah.
Quick little hello goodbye to the elements there in the tower room.
Still looking for this last trap chest. This is the worst feeling when the final trap chest is in the very last treasure chest on your way up of everything. I get it, because there's a lot of these chests that are kind of a long walk out of your way, and there's nothing. You hope you to be done by checking treasures by this point in time. You're like, gosh, I don't want to.
It is always a terrible feeling. Mr. JRPG pointed out this is a good seed for bosses. A lot of the scary ones are out of the way. And yeah, that's definitely got to make them feel a little better. Probably not enough to offset the lack of key items and objectives they're checking off.
Nope. So that was a spoon that was in that last treasure chest. So we're like, okay, that's another one for the pile. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're at 8 key items right now. Getting close to that 10 without any part of Forge, no hook, and a plague. This is gonna okay. This is actually fine. This is kind of free.
Yeah, with what we've had going on, this is definitely probably the best case scenario you can find up here with what we got left.
Oh, and our tracker is pointing out Guerin will be at no, yeah, he hasn't done Sheila checks, so he'll be at 9 because he does have the Earth Crystal and Baron Key. Sheila 1, remember, does have that rat tail, which would be nice. So both Guerin and RPGMel are in Tower now. Everything is kind of converged. The only difference, Guerin has done a significant, and I mean a significant amount of extra checks following the Baron in. Oh, hi, Darkness Crystal. I don't want to see you.
It's not the key item you're looking for, but it's a way to get 2 objectives, and with the amount of levels we've been gaining and the amount of scary bosses we've knocked out, I wouldn't feel too bad about checking the moon.
Well, I think that we touched on it earlier in the race, and I think one of the unique things about this flag set is that doing your objectives only rewards you with completing the objectives. It doesn't necessarily lead to a chain of continuing to, this objective will then, get this complete and give me another key item, so there's a chance to continue on. There is no incentive for us to go ahead and complete the Cave of Bahamut or conquer the Vanilla Masamune altar until those are our final objectives to get done. So we might go to the moon, and you mentioned it, simply because there's the trap chest that's at the Lunar Subterrane and the trap chest on the Giant, which are 2 trap chests that are in the pool for potential key items. Meanwhile, turning in the tower key, just some Artemis arrows.
Again, not something to be mad about, but at the same time, and looks like RPGMel is just going to go ahead and raise the whale. Blue Moon is the planet's turning up nothing. Maybe the moon's got something.
It's either the moon, the Giant, those are 2 checks, or remember, there's 7 checks total in the Sylph Cave trap chest, which is about the only thing we haven't seen yet that when it comes to we already seen the Luca key item. The hook is the only key item that unlocks anything for us at this point.
Fiery Blizzard also pointing out in the chat that D-Mist could be in the vanilla location. I don't think anybody checked the Mist or the Waterfall boss. Could still be there. So that is another check for key item that could lead us to anything at this point.
Everyone always talks about that cheeky D-Mist. As a runner, I've said this. I am fine if D-Mist is the answer and D-Mist is in one of these out of the way places and a check wins. I'm fine losing that race. I think it's such a low percent play. I can understand wanting to check it when you have maybe only a few other places to go, but we've had so much to do up to this point in time. RPGMel is now has been running with only 4 characters up to this point in time. Remember, no Baron Key, no Earth Crystal, no opportunity for the Yang or the Sid or the Tella. But we do have duplicate Tella. Oh, this is the one thing that might drive RPGMel towards ordeals.
Yeah, oh man, that is not something you want to see at all. I agree, that would definitely push ordeals up in my mind, but that is a time sink.
It is. Luckily, Tella is not useless on his own as a 5th character. One, he's as good as a teddy bear from Earthbound. Guys, he can take a hit. That's perfectly fine. But 2, he can cast Blink. And Blink is an incredibly powerful spell, especially towards the end game, when you need someone to be able to survive a couple hits. Now, he's got to survive long enough to take it, but again, it's another character that isn't taking a hit, so he adds quite a bit of survivability to the party as a whole.
That's very true. If you can't actually bring anything useful to the table, the least you can do is take a hit for someone who is useful.
All right, so Porum unfortunately does not get the experience from those hair dryers, but it is still a decent chunk of change. And Seat's got jokes. The Seat's trying to be funny.
I don't think anybody's laughing, unfortunately, though. That is heartbreaking to see.
Meanwhile, Guerin also found the Darkness Crystal, so is finishing up tower right now. Will be making a decision on what to do, what direction to go to. Do you chase that Darkness Crystal or do you go into Sylph? RPGMel is chasing the Darkness Crystal. We'll see if Guerin does the same thing. It's all going to depend on if RPGMel caves and says, I've dodged Mount Ordeals long enough. If it's here, I need to know. And that Tella does make it tempting. So it really, that decision, we'll see what happens once RPGMel ends up finishing, if nothing ends up being in this last arm chest on the Giant.
I feel like from what we've seen, oh, never mind. I was gonna say with what we've been seeing from Guerin, I feel like he's gonna go Sylph. He's been showing, finishing checks nearby each other, but nope, he proved me wrong before I could even say it.
Yeah, I stopped trying to figure out what runners were gonna do because they would always immediately do the other thing too. So, welcome. This is your trial by fire as a commentator. You're welcome to the ranks. Runners do the exact opposite of what you think they're going to do.
That's right. Fiery pointing out that Guerin is also still skipping the entire Sheila chain, so still does not know that the rat tail is there.
It is a bit unusual right now, but all right, there's Vision. Party does survive it. RPG Meld. No whammies, no whammy, no whammies. Show us the hook. There's the hook!
Oh! That's what we've been waiting for. That RPG Mel has to be feeling fantastic right now after that.
I mean, absolutely. That's progress. I mean, one, we can turn in the rat tail. Two, we have two more checks. We have gambled of not doing Mount Ordeals, and anything that we can do to avoid that, perfect.
Yeah, I feel with finding that hook, that just shoves Ordeals right out of RPG Mel's mind. Probably just going to go immediately pick up that hovercraft, turn that in, and we're going to see a dive into Cave Eblan.
So here's an interesting routing decision, and it's a question I have for chat, and it's a question I have for you, Wreck-It. Which order do you do this in? Do you check the... Oh, this isn't... Okay, checking the bosses. Do you check the rat tail turn in, hoping for the double dip pink tail turn in so you never have to come back to it, and then go to Cave Eblan, and then you're just done? Or do you do Cave Eblan first and risk not getting that double dip, but having two more checks, and then leaving the hovercraft to just never come back to that place again and just parking it over at the Silvera Cave?
That's personally, I would really love to not have to go back to the tail turn in, but I think in this case that's probably the smarter of the first plays, because there are two key items. We're still, well, four actually. We're looking for both pieces of the forge, the package, and the pink tail. Could be behind here. It could help jettison you further ahead.
I mean, it is an adamant rock, but and here's the downfall. So it's yeah, we get the objective. Yes, we get something else that we need to do. But if we do get the pink tail anywhere else, we will now have to transport it right back. So it's an efficiency thing. I think I probably would have done the same thing because it's an objective and the risk is too great. But I can absolutely understand the perspective of, hey, plan, hope for the best, but plan for the worst, and plan on the routes being a little bit rough. In the meantime, though, Guerin has said, you know what? I'm ready to start clearing some objectives up here. So Guerin is setting up for doing Cave Bahamut right away.
I don't hate the play. Like I said, we're over an hour in. Guerin hasn't gotten a single objective. I would just be trying to check some boxes at this point, and you definitely have the power to handle probably most anything this cave will throw at you.
Yeah, mid-30s levels, I think, and it's an ant line, so a little bit punchy. But I know I think we have a Moonveil. I know I've seen a Moonveil, but I don't know if Guerin has it.
I think the Moonveil was Sheila too, so Guerin would not have it.
You're right.
Oh, that was painful.
And this is why you have blink casters. All the blink casters.
Yeah, having the blink casters definitely paying out. with Yang here, his power will not trigger the counter, so all you really gotta worry about is those physicals, which we are taking care of no problem. Just ignore the dead dragoon on the floor. We don't want to talk about that.
Simultaneous blargs from Guerin and RPGMel on both sides. Love to see it.
All right, we're making up for a lack of key items with style points, and that's the Legend Sword, so there's another easy objective to check off. No, I said we don't talk about the dead dragoon on the floor.
Yeah, and Fiery Blizzard points out that's go mode. We're not going to turn in the pigtail. We're not going to keep searching for the pigtail. We traded the rat tail away. We have Coco. So we can do King and Queen. We can do Cave Bahamut and Masamune. And the other two objectives, trade away the rat tail and forge the sword. We will not be turning in Paintdale. We will not be burning the village mist.
Yep, it's not the objectives you were hoping to be able to do, just the quick in and out ones, but it's the objectives that the seed is telling us to do, so we just got to follow along.
Yep, we'll see. Do we get the Pegasus bow or Pegasus arrows here? And that seems like a T Wild or S Wild Cocal shop right there. Pegasus bow. Perseus bow. Okay. Perseus bow, Pegasus arrows. Right.
Yeah, and Mel is heading right back to the Fey March. Gonna go take on that King Queen. Yeah, it's a race to see how quickly you can take care of these spots before your opponent can catch up to you.
Yep, being in go mode. And the interesting thing is with that Tella, again, not able to do a whole lot other than cast Blink. But between Rosa, Torum, and Tella, 3 Blink casters on Mel's side with an Avenger Cane and a Blarging Rydia, to keep everything up. That's the party that can get through a lot of rough fights otherwise.
And RPGMel does have the Moon Veil too, and I want to say that somebody's picked up a ribbon somewhere. This Evil Wall fight won't be that much of an issue.
Oh no, and Guerin is doing self chests. Still, well, the problem is we know that both the rat tail and Forge the Sword and the pigtail are all locked behind the hook. And we know that hook is in that really kind of cheeky spot on the giant. So even if we find the pigtail and we find the package, can't turn in the pigtail, and even if we burn the package, we still have to eventually go to the giant to find that hook.
Yeah, it's one of those we hate to see it because we know that this is not going to pay out as well as Guerin is probably hoping, but it's not a terrible play. I understand why he's making it.
Meanwhile, RPGMel, certainly zerking up Rosa, I think, with the bow, and there's already arrows that are out there. You can make the case to just, hey, let Kane and Rosa and Rydia do all the horrible, horrible things Because this Leviathan is not bad. Yeah, his Ice 2s hurt a little bit, but you can push out quite a bit of damage here.
And Vanilla Leviathan, not as scary as he probably once was on your very first playthrough of Final Fantasy IV. I did see Guerin pick up that pink tail, so it is there in Sylph, but still without that hook, it's just a nice little decoration in your bag.
The temptation of the self chests, and I tend to agree, and I try to, like, if there's a good reason to go do them, and you're kind of pushed that way anyway, it is great experience, especially if you're staring down a couple of fights where you're not confident in your fights unless you're in the higher levels. I certainly think Guerin is capable of doing all of the fights. Guerin's a fantastic runner in the community, been around for a while. But I can understand the allure. It's like, hey, I need to be able to get a couple more levels before I'm comfortable with the fights.
Yeah, I definitely agree. There have been plenty of times where I've been able to take a spot, but just for safety, it never hurts. And Iridia going down an RPG-Mel side, but shouldn't be too much of a setback. Probably be able to bounce back. Really? Alright, I'm just going to stop trying to say that kind of stuff, because Kane just went right back down. I apologize for constantly cursing things.
It's our job. Commentators curse. That's why there's the little icon with the microphone and the devil horns. That's the symbol of the brotherhood, my friend. And I don't mean to, by the way, brotherhood, sisterhood, personhood. Commentators curse. We all do it evenly.
That's a bit of an unlucky reset over on RPGMel's side. But shouldn't be too much of a setback. Just gotta do a little reorganizing. You should be able to bounce back pretty easily.
Yeah, it looked like got a little bit unlucky with the ice 2s. They are quite punchy. I know I saw protect rings that were available somewhere. Let me tell you, protect rings are awesome because they have elemental damage, and they're relatively cheap at only 30,000 gold each. Just don't do what I did and buy 6 of them on accident. But they're a fantastic piece of equipment that's relatively cheap and everyone can equip them.
That's where you want to see the Ice 2s landing, over on the old man. I think that was probably the issue, was Tello was getting lucky and just dodging all the hits that he was supposed to be taking. He missed the memo on being the meat shield of this seed.
Hey, everyone, welcome from Free Enterprise 2. Thank you for the raid. We have a spicy one. RPGMel710 versus Guerin. RPGMel is in go mode at this point in time. Guerin unfortunately has to eventually find the hook somewhere because it's impossible to beat the seed without the hook. And the hook is on the giant in that one trap chest. So doing self checks right now. We know nothing good can come from it. Maybe we'll find the package here somewhere. But please, as a reminder, do not spoil the race from Free Enterprise 2. Some people like to go back and watch the VODs, myself included. So, no spoilers, please, and thank you.
This Leviathan is still giving RPGMel a little bit of an issue. bouncing back nicely this time, though. It shouldn't be. As long as we don't get any unlucky rolls, it should be fine.
Unlucky rolls, huh? How about double ice twos on Rydia? We get through the fight at the very least, so we do get through the fight.
Hey, it led to a victory, so you know what? It's 100% calculated.
Now, the rough part now is going to come this evil wall at Asura. Now, Asura's script is odd, and that particular spot, because of the normal Asura mechanics, kind of require it to be extra speedy. Evil Wall, if he's super speedy, ends up just punching you really hard and then crushing you at that point in time. This might be the single worst spot for Evil Wall to be. And yes, Ribbon plus Moonveil equals free. Yes, we've already talked about the way to cheese it. You can Moonveil it to dodge the attacks entirely, and then if you have a Ribbon, you're immune to the crush. But that doesn't always... I mean, if you don't have a Ribbon, I haven't seen RPGMel or Guerin purchase a Ribbon.
Just saw it flashed over on RPGMel's side. Ribbon is on the Rosa.
Okay. That'll be fine then.
Yeah, Evil Wall doing exactly what you just said. He is just swinging for the fences, knocking people down left and right. Oh, and the Rosa goes down. Yep, that's a pretty quick reset out of there.
Our fantastic tracker, Fiery Blizzard, makes an astute observation in chat, and this is really nuanced stuff for free enterprise. So I want to make sure to highlight it. It's very important for all you beginner runners out there to know this particular piece of wisdom. It's very important. The Moonveil doesn't work if you don't use it. Now, I don't know if RPGMel is maybe holding off on using the Moonveil, but this is one of those instances where, like, the perfect opportunity to use it. You know, put a ribbon and you're good.
Entirely could have forgotten about it. It was a good chunk of time ago that they got him. Opting instead for the blinks, kind of the same deal, but unfortunately the blinks run out after 2 punches.
So here's the interesting thing. Guerin is also doing the Evil Wall fight at the same time. Guerin, coming out of those self-trap chests, swole as a word that, swole. Just very swole. Look at that HP difference. Rosa, almost 2k versus, 1.2 on Mel's side. Porum, Kane, everyone is just really quite buff at the moment.
Yep, definitely gonna have an easier time there, but does lack the Moonveil, and I don't know if we've seen Guerin have the ribbons. But definitely has got to be feeling good about his chances there with this fight. Also has the added advantage of the Yang, who can take more than one hit instead of the Tella.
Okay, putting the heroine robe back on Rosa. Wonder if Mel has figured out the puzzle, but Yeah, Evil Wall down on Guerin's side. So it's interesting. It depends on how long RPG Mel will continue to knock on this Evil Wall. Because for every wipe that happens, it gives Guerin a chance to catch up. Guerin's got the levels at this point in time. All he needs is to go check that key item spot up on up on the giant, because that's the last piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, and I don't think Guerin's got many more checks that he could make besides that. He does still have the entire Sheila chain, which would be relatively quick, but it's still just... It's anybody's race at this point. Both of them have the options, or a different way to get it done, I should say. RPG Mel has the go mode, but Guerin's got the levels to get through it.
So far, so good. RPG Mel is still, working away at this. The issue is that Evil Wall is getting mighty close. The crushes will be coming soon. Although, if Rosa can survive with enough blinks, we know that she will be able to live through the crushes.
Yep, here they come. And looks like probably just, zerking up that Rosa. So it'll be slow, but this fight is more or less just finished. That is a lot of experience, unfortunately not going to anyone else on the party, though.
Yeah, the Borzoi, when he gets close enough to Crush is the only thing he uses, so he stops swinging at that point. So if you have a character that can live up to this point who has the Ribbon equipped, Ribbon makes you immune to all insta-death attacks. So this fight now becomes free.
And finally, RPG Mel is through. Nicely done. A little hiccup there, but hey, the objective's checked.
And I get the nerves. You're in go mode. You want to be able to go as quickly as you possibly can. You make a mistake and have to reset out of a boss. This is kind of where the nerves get into play when you're in any tournament race. You haven't seen a dot done yet, even though you're in go mode. You swear it's like, oh my gosh, I probably wasted a lot of time. Thinking back to the only check that RPG Mel has made that was kind of a zonk was the Twin Heart check, for example. But up to this point in time, you're just like, you're starting to get nervous. This is what Eminem was writing about when he said his palms are sweaty, knees weak, arms are heavy, vomit on his sweater already, mom spaghetti, blah blah blah. Like, this is that point in the race when you're in go mode, you haven't seen a dot done, and you just get out of kind of a rough fight like that. The nerves start kicking in.
Absolutely. I gotta imagine both of our runners right now are probably sweating bullets, just chomping at the bit, hoping that they can pull off something here. Guerin looks like he's doing those early boss checks that we talked about earlier, trying to find the Demus, most likely. Having no luck. He's just gotta go check trap chest, man. They're calling your name.
By the way, there's one game that I want to start playing with chat, and now's as good a time as any to start playing it. because we're getting close to the end. We have this antlion, which is going to be the 5th objective for RPGMel710. Guerin going to the giant, certainly on track. It used to be that when we get towards the end of the seed, we're on our way to Zeramus, making the long walk down the lunar subterrane. The community would throw up a bunch of Z flags, and the Z flags were to ask an important question of us: whose butt are we going to kick tonight? The problem is that we do not have Zeramus encounter in these flag sets, right? So we can't do the Zeramus meme in any of our runs because, it's silly to ask whose butt we're going to kick tonight if it's not Zeramus and there's not going to be a randomized sprite at the end. However, it begs the question, all right, whose butt are we going to kick tonight? What is going to be our last encounter? So I'd like to get some guesses in chat. What do you guys want to see? Do you want to see the evil? We haven't seen the absolutely horrible Pabul Gauntlet so far, so that's still on the table. We haven't seen, I think, King Queen Eblan is one of the nicer ones, still on the table. Demist is still out there as well. What do you guys want to see? Whose butt are we going to kick tonight? I want to make it a legitimate question.
That is a fantastic question. We do have a lot of good choices still to pick from. Kainatsu's a choice that's out there. The Fapul Gauntlet just sounds mean at this point, honestly. Just let these guys just finish. Baigen's a good choice too. Oh, we got people hoping for the Gauntlet. That is...
Of course they are. Because it's chat, and chat likes to see pain. Guerin, it was interesting. Guerin did just peek at the boss that was going to be on there. It's like, hey, if this is free experience, let's do it. But we do have the hook at this point. So we're on our way out of the giant. Guerin just has all the puzzle pieces. Can turn in both the rat and the pink tail. So that's go mode. So yeah, that is go mode. Not going to do the forge at this point in time. Has already completed Cave Bahamut. So really, this is actually a much closer race than we thought. Guerin has the levels, and really at this point, turns in rat tail, turns in pink tail. I'll walk down the lunar subterrane. This is a race, everyone.
This all really just hinges on what is waiting for us at that Masamune altar. Going in, I'm a little more confident with Guerin. He's got more levels going in. Having the Yang for the Tella is definitely a plus. But RPG Mel is already up there, and if it is something easy, once he gets through this antlion fight, which he has just done, it's just a quick jog down there, and could potentially be done right here.
Yeah, so in the straight line lead, we're going to ask some folks in chat if you have a better timer. Go, Guerin, you're done. You're done. Guerin.
Oh, no.
No. Oh, Guerin, you don't need to do this.
You're breaking our hearts up here.
Oh, actually, yeah, this might actually be faster because we know where the legend sword is.
Oh, that's true. I forgot all about that.
But here's the... So, I mean, oh my goodness. Yeah, so Guerin has statistically eliminated every other spot and says, I know that one of these has to be the legend sword, and is banking on this being faster. So even though Guerin has the levels, RPG has to walk the entire lunar subterranean, has to, and then kill whatever boss is there. Guerin has to turn in, fight this really simple fight, exit out, and then do the cutscene to turn in, and then that's it. That's actually a super heads up play by Guerin, and I'm glad that it was pointed out to us.
I am too. I was sitting up here just wondering what Guerin was thinking. That is actually brilliant.
Yeah, and he's already done all the self-trap chests. So literally the only two things that could be in these two trap chests, the Legend Sword and the package, both of which are key items. So he knows he doesn't even have to do both. It's only going to be the one. And we're done. And we're out.
That is... Oh, man. I did not even think of that as an option. That is huge.
Very, very heads up play. I would not have been thinking that far ahead. So very, very heads up play. And all Guerin has to do is a quick cutscene. RPGMel right around the corner, but I don't know if he's going to have enough time unless it's super free. Yes, absolutely, Winfox. This is an incredible comeback where RPGMel was in go mode much sooner, but Guerin just kept on going. And those levels from the self-trap chests, getting through those quickly, certainly slingshot him quite a bit, because was able to clear lots of things very, very quickly. RPGMel starting the fight. Whose butt is it? It is Bacchus. We did have that guess. But GG's to Guerin. Winner at 1:33.22. What an incredible change of pace. This was a fantastic race, start to finish, between Guerin and RPGMel710. But the winner, Guerin, GG's. Whoo!
Yeah, that was a definite nail biter there. GG
Yeah, that
to
was
both racers.
that was one that if you are here watching this race now, make sure to go tell your friends to come back and watch this, because this one went back and forth, and is, I think, a great example of these flag sets and knowing exactly where you're at in the race. And I think we are now joined by the legend, Guerin. GG's.
Thank you.
So I think the first question is, how are you feeling for most of that? Just check after check after check, just not coming up with anything. How was it just trying to get through that?
It wasn't that bad. I mean, there wasn't anything too rude this time around. It was just that, okay, the last 5 key items you need are all at the end.
That's true. It was a pretty generous boss seed, but just very heads up with the forge right at the end. We saw you turning to Eblan Cave, and just our immediate thought was, oh no, what is he doing? Go to the moon, go clear the Moon altar. You have the levels. And then it got pointed out to us in chat that this was just quicker. It was like, that was brilliant.
But by that point, I knew there was only two other checks left. There was Demist and there was Feymar's Trap. So it's like I had a 2 out of 3 chance to get either the package or the legend. So.
Yeah, we had seen the warrior chest already open, so we knew what was going on. So we were like, oh no, what's going to happen? But you're right, from statistical elimination, somewhere is the package. We're watching, of course, your screen credits roll right now to figure that out, but very heads up play there at the end, and RPG Mel probably would have beaten you by maybe 30 seconds to a minute if you had gone straight up to the moon. I think you still had the levels to get through it, but very heads-up play. Either way, just fantastic way to run that race at the end.
As we have a panic there at the end, it's like, hopefully it's not Merge Chest. Please, not a second week in a row.
I was going to say, walk me through what's as you're going through this seed. You know, for example, you did the early ordeals routing that led to Baron, led to Earth. Then you did, you know, the Twin Heart in with that, and that ended up zonking. I know from experience that's not a great feeling, but what was going through your mind at that point?
Well, at that point, it's like, oh boy, this is gonna be tight. I mean, you know, if your opponent fades it at all, and apparently, from what I understand, Mel did fade that whole thing. It's like, that's a lot of time lost. At least he faded the ordeals part, from what I understand from the chat, anyways.
Yep, RPGMel did fade the whole of Ordeals. Did not follow the same chain you did, but it definitely started to close the gap a lot faster than we thought, with how much time you sunk into all those.
That early heroine definitely helped save enough time.
Well, the early heroine, and then you ended up doing the Sylph trap chests and moved through them very, very quickly, all told. And that allowed you, I mean, you were swole by the end of it. You were just kind of melting bosses that RPG Mel, I think, bounced off a little bit, struggled a little bit with that evil wall at Asuro, which is never a fun spot for that.
No, I knew it was going to be a bit of a tough one, because, like, okay, it's Rosa, she's not the fastest, but she's still pretty fast, and... And yeah, the antlion was on the moon where he's supposed to be this time around, and I got a bit lucky with the right characters getting bonked there before I got Blinks up.
Yeah, can you tell us kind of your overall thoughts? You've been around the community for a while, and I know that this flag set is a little bit different than other tournament flag sets as well. How you acclimating? How you getting adjusted? You know, I know we're now 2 weeks in, so we're half done with this flag set already.
Or in my case, 2/3 has already run 2 of the 3 races, but... I don't particularly care for this flag set all that much, just because I hate not really being able to control the agility if we get the wrong character. That was more of a thing for last week's race, which, by the way, go and watch that if you want some real punishment from the restreamer.
Nah, we're good. I mean, if you like punishment, but we get that so many times a week these times. It's so good. That said, a win for your team. How's the tournament going? And I guess give us any final thoughts as we try to get things wrapped up here.
Well, it is good to come from behind victory this week. I see we won 2... Well, I shouldn't say that, but yeah, it's worked out pretty well. I was doing some going, it's like, okay, I better win this one, but...
Well,
Well,
it was
either way,
definitely a well-ran race. It was a nail biter right up till the end. Just really well done from all around.
Well, thanks, and thanks for doing the commentary. I'm sure I'll watch it back later and laugh at all the mistakes, and it'll be fun.
absolutely. We hope you enjoy watching it back, and GG's to you as well.
All right, thanks very much. Have a good evening.
while we're waiting on him, do want to give a GG's to, of course, both the runners, RPGMel710 and Guerin. Putting on a fantastic show. Also, let's give credit to the behind-the-scenes folks as well. Hush Pyramid for the restream, Fiery Blizzard for the tracking, and of course, Wreck-It89, first time on the mic. I hope I made it easy for you on your first time. I'm happy to be here for your first time as well.
No, it was definitely fun. I hope everyone enjoyed it. Definitely. Hopefully not the last time you'll hear from me.
Oh, I certainly hope we get to hear more from you, Wreck-It. It was absolutely a pleasure.
It was nice sharing the booth with you tonight.
Absolutely. Let's see what we have going on here. Yeah, while we continue to wait, we do have a couple matches tomorrow, including an early match. There is a match at 10:30 a.m. tomorrow between Peasants OMFG versus Boney. So if you like your free enterprise with your coffee in the morning, feel free to join us super early. At 4 p.m., also on the free enterprise channel, is Reckless Charlie versus Alchemy. Also on Saturday evening at 8 o'clock Eastern is going to be a twin cast. So we're doubling up on that particular race. Don't quite know who's running in that one, but I'll be looking that up right now. But also at 10 o'clock tomorrow evening, we have Judge Joe versus Flurry 14. That's going to be a fantastic race as well. Welcome, RPGMel710. GG's, and welcome.
Thanks. My first race in 4 years, and Bacchus at Messi.
Yeah, time to shake a little bit of the rust off there. That's one way to do it.
Yeah, my boss strategies still need work. I had to reset out of just about all the hard ones.
You can definitely thank chat for the bacon. They willed it into existence at the Mouse Moon altar.
Oh, I can feel the energy on every seat for that.
In fact, specifically, WinFox470 called it. I did a guessing game to try to see whose butt we were going to kick tonight because haha memes. But yeah, WinFox470 actually accurately called Bacchus as the last boss. So blame them is what I'm going to point their direction.
Thank you for the curse.
And we're just glad it was not our fault this time.
So walk us through, because you had go mode relatively early, but walk us through kind of how you felt the seed went. You dodged ordeals, and I don't know how much you know, but that was kind of a rabbit hole. The Mount Ordeals with the 3 bosses led into the Baron Key with an extra character check, which led to the Earth Crystal, which led to an apple. So it was a lot of checks that just ended up being a whole lot of nothing.
Oh, thank God I didn't do it then. Because I would have done those things probably if I went to Ordeals. Thankfully I didn't need to, so... I just wanted to fade Ordeals and Sylph. And apparently fading Sylph was a bad idea.
Well, Sylph ended up... it had the pink tail, for sure. I think more than anything, it gave Guerin quite a few levels, so to just kind of steamroll everything at that point in time. So, didn't struggle with the bosses quite as much as you did at that point.
Yeah, and I larged everything too, instead of raising levels better too. Yeah, so just wanted to stay away from those, and then I found the hook in Giant. I'm guessing I found that first.
You did. You did. It was almost last location. In fact, Mel, because Mel already had checked everywhere else as soon as Guerin, I'm sorry, found the hook, kind of like, okay, the only other places that any items could possibly be are on the hook route, and then maybe one or two other checks. So just kind of statistically made the gamble that I'm going to go check the hook for one of the other key items I need, because hadn't found the Legend Sword, hadn't found the package. We knew that the Legend Sword was there when you checked it for your go mode, but that enabled Guerin to completely bypass the Masamune altar check entirely.
Yeah, that would have been nice to do. But I struggled on other bosses too, so I probably lost a lot of time. Just the reset on Leviathan, I think I reset at the Evil Wall twice.
Yeah, Evil Wall was a little bit rough there. I mean, it's a rough spot for Evil Wall because it's so speedy.
Yeah, all I needed to do was put the heroin robe on Rosa. That's all I had to do.
There, I do want to let you know there was an easier solution in your inventory for that as well.
Oh, you mean the Moonveil?
Yep.
I was
Yep.
saving.
Okay.
I wasn't
Alright.
gonna use it. I always save that for the Masamune spot. That's just
Okay.
That's just my rule.
I mean, makes sense because Baigen, yeah, that wouldn't have been fun either.
That's
way.
why I
Yeah.
used it, and then I remember, oh shoot, vampire.
Yeah,
I
definitely
don't
not a bad idea to save it for that. That is definitely not a spot you want to get punched at.
No, I'm very deathly afraid of Dark Imps there.
With that, any other final thoughts on the seed or even the tournament overall?
No, I'm just sad that my team lost because of this, but you know, Rando's gonna rando. And it's
That is
not
the
like
nature of Rainbow. Yep.
yeah, and it's not like I lost to a bad player or something. So, GG Guerin.
Absolutely. GG's to both of you for this amazing race. Go back and watch it. It's an amazing race to watch back.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I don't really like watching my old races, but I probably should, considering. Uh, thanks a lot for putting on this event. Geez, I seriously have not played FE in like 4 years, so it was a good excuse to come back in.
Well, 4 years gone, but it was a pretty solid showing from you. So it was not as bad as you probably think.
Thanks. The rust was obvious. At least to me.
A little rust never hurt anybody.
Excellent. And one last GG's to you, RPGMel. GG's.
Thank you.
And with that, we're going to call it an evening over here in the free enterprise community. What we would like to do, however, is go ahead and send you over to Funnel Cakes, who is running a potion party practice seed right at the moment. Remember, no spoilers. We want to support the other folks in the community, so we'll be rating. Just make sure not to spoil the race results with anyone. In fact, tell him that he needs to go back and watch this one because it was a fun race to watch.
Yeah, it was a race. I will say that.
Absolutely. So from all of us here at Free Enterprise, thanks everyone else, and we'll see you at the next race. Have a good night.